Wow.
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 Wow. We're back, baby.
Yeah.
We're back. It's the Divisional
Woo.
Round Picks Podcast Edition. I'm your host, Matt. This is your other host, Kyle. I always forget which way to point.
The audio's doing phenomenal, Matt.
It's doing phenomenal. We can hear both of us.
Doing phenomenal. Way better than the initial Aaron pod, but
oh my god.
we got great
Lovely.
audible.
Thank God I didn't touch any of my settings. I love it when everything works. What's up, everybody? How we doing? How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm doing
Lost
great.
a few years on Sunday, but we're doing great.
Bruh. How do you think I feel? Oh my god. Dude, I'm first of all, I'm alive, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's huge. Very scary conditions.
Second of all, yeah, dude, freaking the drive home. Oh my god. Saw like two overturned cars. Literally, I think I saw one lane the entire time, like the dotted lines. I didn't see any dotted lines on the highway. Crazy.
Oof.
Took us over 3.5 hours to get home, but I mean, we did have to go. We went from Philly to Trenton, and then from Trenton to where I live in Boundbrook. So it was like, you know, a little out of the way, but still, it was like a long ass drive. We're gonna get into all that. I was at the link to watch the Eagles' victory over the Rams on Sunday, which was phenomenal. I'm glad they won because I would be crying because that was probably the best game I've ever been to in my entire life. But I'm not the only winner, Kyle. The KBTs.
The KBTs ends with a winner.
Final form ends with a win. Another win. That's two. That's for the wild card and the divisional round. 2 hits.
4-0 when a member of the Picks podcast attends one of the games in the KBTs.
We did it. We did it, boys.
We did it.
I had a good week. All right, I had a good week betting. It could have been a phenomenal week if not for a number of things, which we'll get into.
Yeah, it could have been a phenomenal week if the Devils played like they did in the first fucking period.
I had a lot of 3 out of 4s.
God damn it, Devils.
Devils were tough, man. You went back and watched the whole Eagles game, though, right?
Dude, of course. I was watching the Eagles game at the Devils game.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Thank you,
I literally said at 3 o'clock, I went to the bathroom. I swapped my Devils jersey for my Eagles jersey that I had on underneath. And then I was rolling Eagles the rest of the way.
There we go, baby. I love it. Yeah, so Kyle was at the Devils game on Wednesday, Sunday. Jesus Christ.
Sunday, one day.
Sunday, one of the days. And yeah, he had to make a call, whether, to watch the game in front of him or the game that mattered. And he chose the correct option. So
the Devils sacrificed their lives for the Eagles.
For the Eagles to win.
Eternally grateful for them.
So we're going to talk about, Eagles Rams. We're going to talk about all the games, of course. Not too many general notes.
Round, Matt. Immaculate. Hell of a divisional
round.
Oh
my god, dude.
Just all games phenomenal.
Just objectively, like, so much better than the wild card round. Like, objectively.
The divisional round is arguably the best weekend of football.
It's so good.
Because you have the best of the best, and there's usually, like, classics.
It's so good. I mean, you could argue we got 4 good games. I don't think there's any argument.
I think we did. I don't think there is an argument.
Honestly.
I guess you could. The only argument, I guess, Texans and Chiefs was kind of weak, but I think all 4 games had their merits.
I mean, it was close in the end.
In comparison,
in comparison, which is saying a lot because that was still a pretty good game.
Commanders kind of dominated that game, but it still felt like what a amazing game.
So I did drop 2 games. 500 was the record. 2-2.
Oof. Dude, I went 4-0.
Oh.
Do you even know?
Oh yeah, that's right. You did pick Washington.
I mean, I don't think I kind of picked the Commanders. I said I think they're gonna win. And
I don't know. You told me kind of definitively.
But then I kind of was like, you know what? Like the Lions probably are going to win, but I was like, you know what? I did, and I said they had the best chance for the upset.
Yeah,
and
you
guess
did.
Who was the only team
that
got the upset? I'm not counting the Bills because that was a pick 'em.
Yeah.
But.
And they were home, dude. Like, not an upset.
And they were home. Yeah, it's ridiculous that they were.
Right.
That's why I picked them in the tees.
Let's get into it. Not too much general news. I think the only thing noteworthy was that the Chicago Bears
too busy
finalized a deal to hire
interview with the Bears.
Lions
to play
offensive coordinator Ben Johnson as the team's next head coach. Dude,
Wow.
apparently the Bears and Ben Johnson didn't even have an in-person interview, which I find asinine. The only thing
Dude,
that
their first
happened,
in-person interview was when they did when they played each other and he did the
yeah,
fake
right,
stumble play. He's like,
yeah.
"Look how cool I am." They're like, "Wow,
They're like, wow,
you're so cool.
they're like,
We're gonna hire you."
will you teach me to fake stumble? Yes.
Yes, will
Okay,
you
you're
teach me
hired.
to fake? Yes.
Yeah, all they had was a virtual meeting and like back channel conversations with those who were close to Johnson.
Yeah,
That was
they're
apparently
agents.
enough. So I find that
I
odd.
don't know if you saw. I don't know if you
Um,
saw, but like Brett Coleman like retweeted this report. Apparently, like almost all these NFL hirings and stuff like all happened just like through like back channels with their agents and stuff.
yeah, it's wild, dude.
Like
Like this is the
Brian Poles like met Matt Eberflus at like a golf event for like their agents,
yeah.
and they're like, "Wow, he's a really chill dude," and that's why Matt Eberflus was hired apparently, which is just nuts.
I'm just a chill guy that likes virtual meetings.
Like virtual meetings in golf.
That's wild to me. Like to not even like meet the guy in person who's gonna literally take over your entire organization is kind of wild.
I have a bold prediction. I think Ben Johnson's gonna fail.
Well, look, it's the Bears, and their management and their ownership has been really bad since the Super Bowl appearance in like what was it, like 2009. So
I mean, we'll see. We'll
I
see.
don't know if that's
That's just a
necessarily a bold take.
bold. I guess I think it's bold because everybody loved Ben Johnson. You know, yet he put the freaking game on the line with his freaking suspension wide receiver to throw a ball.
Yeah.
But
Oh
we'll
my
get to that
God. Yeah.
later.
We're gonna get to that. I guess let's start off, man. I mean, like we said, we got
Then
four good
the
games.
Thanos inevitable.
Yeah, Mr. Thanos. We'll
God.
go to Saturday at 4:30, where the Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately for a lot of people, are moving on to
For
the conference
everyone that's
championship.
not from like Kansas City area and likes Taylor Swift,
Yeah, right.
everybody else
Uh,
is in
the
shambles.
Chiefs win 23-14 over the Houston Texans. There's a lot to talk about. So like the opening kickoff, um, the opening kickoff was wild because they took it back to like in Texans territory, the Chiefs did, and then some dude took his helmet off and literally like threw it, and then the special teams coach is like, dude, what are you doing? And then he like shoved him to the ground.
Yeah,
Wild start.
can't be doing that.
Wild start. So
Very unsportsmanlike conduct.
yeah,
so to
so the
speak.
wild start. Chiefs set up at the Texans 13, and the Texans immediately just say that's far enough, sir. You can stay right there.
Negative 1 yard on the
Negative
drive,
1 yards
counting
on
the
that
special teams
drive.
return.
Chiefs,
The Texans defense.
dude,
Impressive.
phenomenal. Settle for 3.
Phenomenal defense.
I mean, you start in the red zone and you hold them to 3. That's a great start for the team. And then the Texans go on kind of like a methodical drive to start the game. There was a big catch by Schultz, and they end up tying it up. So they've got a 3-3 game. I believe after that opening drive was when they started looking at C.J. Stroud's knee. I think he took a hit at some point. So they were checking his knee out, made sure he was okay. And then we get to the bullshit. The roughing the passer call against Will Anderson. Third down, Chiefs are punting there. Nope, they throw the flag. Dude, I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And it gets worse too. Oh, trust me, it gets worse. What'd you think of that call? I mean, dude, it's
the first roughing the passer. I mean, I think I forgot who said it that I saw, but I think it's a tie goes to the quarterback, and this is in this instance. I think if you look, I think it might have been Colin Cowherd. Shout out to Colin Cowherd. But anyway, he said that basically the way the rules written, because he pulled up the rule, is that it's pretty much like a similar to baseball. Tie goes to the runner, tie goes to the quarterback. Basically, the way the rules are written,
yeah. If you're Patrick
is
Mahomes,
if like
maybe.
if you were unsure, if and the kid defenders in the general area of the quarterback and you're unsure, throw the flag and give the benefit of the doubt to the quarterback. Which I mean, I don't think I think if anything, the NFL needs to look into having it be like not necessarily challengeable, but I think they need to do like the replay assist on it.
Well,
Because
they've done it before.
no, they don't have that rule right now. But I'm saying this one is, I mean, I don't agree with it. Like, but I mean, the guy's helmet, Will Anderson's helmet was pretty close to Mahomes' head. So like I get the flag, and
Yeah.
obviously the fact that's Mahomes and the Chiefs is like it leaves a sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah, right.
But this one was not as egregious as the one to follow it.
I think that's a fair assessment. Look, the rule, as to my understanding, is excessive contact to the head neck area, which is what they were judging on that play. I don't think it's excessive, bro. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
if you
I
can,
think the tie goes to
the
the
tie to go.
quarterback.
Yeah, I see your analogy. So they kept the flag, kept the Chiefs drive going, and then Kelsey was holding Will Anderson literally the next play. I mean, it didn't matter because the Texans got Worthy in the backfield for a loss of 8. They tried to go end around. So it's a great play, but the refs continue to be blind. Kansas City is held to another field goal. They're getting after Mahomes, which is what they needed to do. And they were sacking him a lot, dude. Honestly, like early in that,
getting hit a lot.
They started sacking him early in that second quarter. So the Texans get the ball back. Stroud made a great play on 3rd and 10. He scrambled for 28 yards.
Today with 3 sacks. Will Anderson with 2 of them.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they only finished with 3 in the box score, but the pressure rate was, I thought,
they were getting a ton of hits.
Must have been a lot higher. So Stroud made a good play, lowered the shoulder for a 28-yard gain. And then the Texans trot Kaimi Fairbairn out there, and he misses from 55. So I don't remember what the exact down and yardage was. I know it was 4th down. I don't remember exactly.
4th and 8 at Kansas City 37.
Look, it's windy and rainy. Maybe you punt the ball. Your defense is playing really well, but like, dude, this kick wasn't even close. It was way right. Like, so I don't know. I think maybe you think about punting there. It's not the worst decision. I mean, Fairbairn's got a really.
At that point, you're only down by 3.
Yeah.
Fairbairn, if you saw, he's all dressed up in like a winter wetsuit or whatever. You don't like to see your kicker like that.
Yeah.
That doesn't really inspire confidence. But again, as it always is, if you give the Chiefs an inch, they'll take a mile out of it.
So the Chiefs take that. They take over at their own 37. Some exciting plays on that drive. Hollywood Brown almost came up with a deep ball. It was actually almost an interception, too. The guy almost took it from him. But the very next play, there's a huge throw to Kelsey, sets the Chiefs up at the Texans 6, and Kareem Hunt takes it in for the touchdown. 5 postseason games in Kareem Hunt's career, and he scored in each one of them. Little hint for later.
Good for him.
So the Texans get the ball back. John Mechie had a really good block, and he had a really good catch on the next drive. It was a consequential hold from Shaq Mason that pushed the Texans out of field goal range, potentially. They get some yards back, and Kaimi redeems himself, and he puts up 3 points. So going into halftime, it was 13-6 Chiefs. Texans get the ball first in the 3rd quarter.
They had an incredible drive.
That drive was really, and
it took almost all the 3rd quarter. It was a 10-minute, 15-play drive for 82 yards.
Yeah, a 10-minute and 30-second drive. They ran the ball extremely, extremely well, which is something they it's not that they didn't do it in the first half. It's just they weren't very efficient in their runs. They were very like pick and choose with when they decided to run it. But 10 minutes and 30 seconds later, Joe Mixon takes it into the end zone. And they're about to tie the game. And guess what? Fairbairn says, no, I'm going to go ahead and miss the PAT. So all that, and the Chiefs still have the lead. It's 13-12, which sucks, really, really bad. And then we got probably the worst play I've ever seen anybody make in their entire professional career by Patrick Mahomes. The flop. We got to talk about the flop. He is a runner inbounds past the line of scrimmage, and he slides so late. So late. What do? They call it anyway. And the worst part about this play was, I believe it was 2-0-2-0 on the Texans. They literally ran into each other. There was no contact to Mahomes there. And they threw the flag.
The ref
looked
saw
at it.
Mahomes underneath the guys or they can't pick up the flag, Matt.
Yes,
the
they
flag is thrown in
can.
front of. No, they're not allowed to pick it up.
I've seen them pick up those before.
Not for
After
unnecessary
they
roughness.
huddle and they get together, I've seen them pick those up before.
That's not true.
I've seen it. And then literally on the same drive, slows down as he's approaching the boundary and flops out of bounds after a little shove. Like, I don't even think if I shoved you that hard, I don't think I'm moving you. So you're gonna move a football player? Like, I think the conversation has to be had. I'm just gonna ask you straight up: is Patrick Mahomes a dirty player?
No, he's just a smart player using the rules to his advantage.
You know who he reminds me of a lot?
You know, the way to fix it is just basically not fix the rule book so that stuff like that won't get called. Like, I think in general, this is a problem. It's not just Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, don't like Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
'cause
look, it's
he wins so
amplified
much.
with Mahomes because he's
But
such a big superstar.
I think the fact is that almost like Jalen. I've seen Jalen Hurts do this.
I've never
Joe
seen
Burrow
Jalen Hurts
it.
do that.
I've seen Josh Allen do it, where they do like the late slides. And
I've seen the late slide. But I've never seen the flopping, and I've never seen it called to the point where it's literally going to get called every time, regardless of what happens.
Was more of a flop. There was the flop earlier in the game, which they didn't call, but that was egregious flop. But this one, I don't think it was more of a flop. I think it was more just like a really late slide.
No, they were on the same drive.
What's the quarterback going to do?
They were on the same drive, Kyle. They were on the same drive.
No, but they didn't call the flat.
They didn't call the flop, thankfully. They were thinking about it. They were thinking about it.
Yeah, they definitely didn't. But the one where they actually called the penalty, I think, is him just like being like it's the fact that they're doing these late slides. Like, what's the defender going to do? Because if they just even graze the helmet, in this case, they didn't even do it.
They didn't even touch
him. But the ref probably just fucking heard the noise and threw the flag.
Yeah.
But I think they need to do it where they need to review these. If it's clear that it's not touched like it was today, they should be able to pick it up.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they can.
I've seen him
confirmation on this, but I don't.
I feel like I've seen it before. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily on like the roughing the passer or the like unnecessary roughness plays. I feel like I've seen it on unnecessary roughness plays though, where they picked it up after they huddled together.
Yeah. But I don't think that one can. But either way,
I think he's a dirty player. I think he's trying to exploit the rules for his own benefit. I think that's Bush League, in my opinion. He reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you've watched NBA. I haven't watched NBA in a few years, but James Harden used to do that all the time, where he had the long ass beard and he'd go like this with his neck, and he'd like thrust his head up to like simulate like contact, and his beard is so big it makes his head look big, so it looks like he's actually getting hit. That's what it reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, like, I mean, this happens in soccer. This happens in basketball. My God, yeah. It doesn't really happen in football, but like now it is. It's just, you can't have the cake and eat it too. Like,
it's not football, man.
It's like the quarterbacks. It's like you can't have your cake of like being protected in the pocket.
I agree.
Or roughing the passer. But then I think it should be like as soon as you start running, you're a runner now. Like, any runner, like even running backs can slide.
You are the same.
The fact that they're doing these late slides, I think as soon as like you even start the motion. Like, I don't even know what to do.
It's physically impossible. I
don't think anything's gonna change. It's a shame.
It needs to change, and unfortunately,
but I don't really know what the best solution
is. It's broke, man.
The NFL is realistically gonna do.
It's broke. So, all that bullshit happens on the Texans or on the Chiefs drive. And then, I mean, you can hate him all you want, but he made an unreal throw to Kelsey for the touchdown.
Oh, that was incredible.
That was just vintage Patrick Mahomes. That was an insane play. So the Chiefs score, they go up 20-10 or 20-12. Texans get the ball back, and the Chiefs pass rush just was relentless on that drive. 3rd and 10, they get sacked for a bunch of yards. No one keyed in on Justin Reed. He made a really good play. And then the Texans decide to go for it on 4th and 10. I forget where they were on the field. I know they were in Chiefs territory, but barely. They were like in no man's land, kind of. And they go for it on 4th and 10, and they get sacked for 16 yards.
Yeah, 4th and 10 at Kansas City 40s when they went for it with 10 minutes to go in the 4th.
Dude, 16 yards. So here's my.
I think with how good your defense had been playing, I think you just punt there.
Granted,
thank God the defense played good enough where they did force Kansas City to punt after that, which is impressive.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would say punt it.
In that sense, you could argue DeMeco Ryans did trust his defense, and they did perform. It's
Yeah,
just
like
a shame. It would have been better. If
it's
they
just a
just
shame
punted
that he
the
got
game.
sacked for 16 yards and now they're in your territory. Like, come on. So yeah,
But they were able to stop him.
I would have punted and pinned him. That's exactly what I would have done. So yeah, it was a great hold by the Texans defense after that. And I was saying, I was like, this is why you should have punted, because now instead of getting the ball, backed up against your own end zone, you could have gotten the ball like, yeah, you could have gotten the ball at like the 30 or 40 yard line. So it is what it is. It wasn't a very good punt by Tommy Townsend. So I think the Texans took over. Oh no, what was it? Townsend punted back to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs
Chiefs
took over.
got the ball, drove down.
About 7:30 left. Yeah, and then the Chiefs started running the ball, made it very efficient. They get the field goal. And they take a 2-possession lead. So starting to look bleak.
4 minutes to go.
Yep. Schultz made a good catch, and I believe the Chiefs challenged it and they were unsuccessful, which I don't know. It was a close call. I thought he caught it. Thought it was a good call.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it was a catch because they called it that. That's how it works.
So Stroud ended up getting sacked on one of these plays. 8 sacks for the Chiefs.
Right before the 2-minute warning, he was sacked.
8 sacks for the Chiefs at this point,
pretty banged up.
Yeah, I mean, he had to help. He had to be helped off.
Then they go for a field goal, and it's blocked.
Yeah, and at that point, you knew it was over. I mean, dude, Fairbairn kicked the line drive. I mean, it couldn't have been a worse attempt, in my opinion. The guy didn't even really have to jump. All he did was put his hands up.
Yeah. And then the safety.
Yeah, I mean, the safety was inconsequential at the end. Unless you bet on it.
The line closed at 9.5.
Oh, so that did matter.
So that safety was huge for
that mattered tremendously.
Betters of the spread.
Were you one of them?
No, I wasn't. Actually, I had 8.5. I had 8.5.
So
Bud.
Bad beat.
But that's why we tease. And the Texans covered the tease, baby.
They did, yes.
Woo!
Which we knew they did. We knew they would. We're smart around here.
But I was 2 missed extra points away from having the Texans cover, having the KBTs not even needing to be teased.
I mean, well, look, you had 7 points off the board there. A blocked field goal, a missed field goal, and a missed extra point. So, like, realistically, you should have hit. We're being honest here.
Oh well.
So Chiefs moving on to the AFC Championship game. Mahomes has never played. He's never played a season where he didn't make the AFC Championship game. 7
undefeated in the divisional round.
7 straight for Kansas City.
1 short of the all-time record of 8 held by the Patriots.
Yep. I got a stat for you before we move on to the next game. Teams in the playoffs, right, that have outgained their opponents by 100 yards or more and did not turn the ball over going into Saturday were 49-0. They are now 49-1. The loss being the Texans on Saturday. Crazy, man. Crazy. And of course, the one loss is against Kansas City, because of course it is.
Of course it is. Like KC, stop them, Buffalo.
So how do you follow that up?
Please.
So how do you follow that up? Well,
with a banger of a game.
Let's go to Saturday night.
To the moon.
There's a lot to talk about. The Washington motherfucking Commanders. 45-31. The team of destiny, some might say. Moving on to the NFC Conference Championship. They go into Ford Field, taking down the number 1 seed Detroit Lions. So let's start this game. Zane Gonzalez boots the opening kickoff out of bounds, and we're underway. Lions go quick 3-and-out, which was kind of surprising. And
dude, all I know is that first tackle that they did against David Montgomery, Frankie Louvu tackling him, that set the tone. Yeah. No, it was the second tackle because it was for -5 yards.
Yeah.
Because that was Fowler. But he said that was a big tackle, and I was like, ooh, the Commanders, they came to play.
They did.
And then it just went on from there.
The ensuing drive, Commanders start going down. How about this? I don't know if you remember this, but there was a play. It was a 3rd down. It was a big play during the game that Fox is just showing an ad during the play, like for half of the play.
Oh, that was nuts! Like, what
the
hell?
What are we doing? like
What are you doing, Fox?
they had the game audio off, and they had like the side by side where the ad was playing, and they literally didn't even bother going full screen until like the play was almost over. Crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. That was
Um,
the third and 14 on the Commanders' first
yeah,
drive. That
and
ended
they
up being
picked it up.
turnover on downs
It was
because
big.
they didn't get the first down.
Yeah, so the Commanders go for it on fourth down. They tried to get Mariota to pitch it to Jayden Daniels, but
Very
I don't.
interesting play call, but
Yeah,
the
it was
Lions
kind of weird, huh?
knew.
So they had the two quarterbacks set out there, and then it looked like the pressure got through. They wrapped Mariota up before he was able to pitch it. It looked like he hesitated a little bit, but I thought it was just a really good play by the Lions defensive line. So they wrap him up. Let's see what's going on here. The Lions flip field on their ensuing possession. Nice gain to JMO, had a big play. They go right down the field and score a touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs. So the Lions strike first.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, freaking stud muffin.
Yes.
What was his final line? I feel like they should have given him the ball more.
He had a lot. He had a long
14
touchdown.
14 carries, 105, 2 touchdowns on the run, and he had 6 catches for 70 yards through the air. How could you not just give him
it was
the
crazy.
ball
Yeah. I mean, they tried to.
Montgomery's coming off the injury. He had 7 for 28. You should have given all those.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird, right? Didn't you feel like they were trying to force it to Montgomery a little bit? It was
a little weird. I don't know, man.
I don't know. It felt weird. So the Commanders get the ball back. They end up getting a field goal. It was, again, the Jahmyr Gibbs show on the next drive.
Yeah,
the
33
Lions
run
offense
on the second play of the drive.
Lions offense was in such a groove, and then all of a sudden, here comes Frankie Louvu, strips it, and the Commanders come up with it.
Armstrong stripped it. Frankie Louvu recovered.
Okay. So Louvu recovered. Armstrong stripped it, and the Commanders come up with the ball. Lions offense starting to look a little vulnerable. Okay, something to note. I mean,
shout out for the Commanders for staying in it at this point, because honestly, you go on your first drive, you start them 3 and out, great. Then you go for it on fourth, you don't get it. Then 6-play drive, freaking Lions score. You only get a field goal, and they're
driving down the field on you again.
They're on the 17-yard line, looking like they're gonna score again, and then you get this sack and the fumble, which is just a huge game changer.
It's huge, right? Because you're about to go down 2 possessions early. You're on the road. It's the first quarter, right? You don't want to.
That stadium's got to be rocking.
Oh my God, yeah. So huge play there by the Commanders. One thing I did want to note at this point, what I was thinking in the game was, in recent weeks, the Commanders had really struggled to run the ball with their running backs effectively. And I thought that was going to be probably the biggest thing as to why that probably was the biggest reason why I wasn't thinking Washington in this game. You're putting a lot on Jayden Daniels, and to their credit, they did start to sprinkle in a little bit more screen passes with Eckler back and Brian Robinson. They started to get them involved through the passing game, which was nice, right? Because if you can't run the ball effectively, you still want to get the ball to your playmakers. They started running the ball. They started running the ball pretty well.
Yeah, they did. Brian Robinson had a pretty good game. Jayden Daniels, I know I brought up the freaking stat. I know the best bet of the weekend I said was Jayden Daniels over rushing yards. He was 4 yards short. Yeah. I'm just as upset as you are.
That's tough.
Ugh.
That's tough. So the Commanders on this drive, they go for it on fourth down. This time they convert. The Commanders, I think they benefited from a questionable PI call. They did end up scoring a touchdown on this drive, but I didn't really think it was pass interference. I forget who it was on. But I remember saying on that particular drive, I didn't really think it was PI. But Commanders get a touchdown early in, or
PI on
sort of early in the second quarter. So 10:55 left in the second quarter, and then Kyle, we are off to the fucking races.
The highest scoring quarter in playoff history, baby.
Strap in, because it's about to get crazy. So the Commanders score a touchdown. Next drive,
Lions score a touchdown.
Sam Laporta makes an unreal catch.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Great catch.
Then
Washington strikes back right away. A little screen pass to McLaurin. One block, and he takes it the distance. Another touchdown. And then
3-play drive. Then
the Lions get the ball back, and guess what? Quan Martin picks it off and takes it the distance. A pick six for the Commanders. Just an completely errant throw by Goff, by the way. I don't know what he was seeing on that. Like real.
Well,
like,
if you remember, this was the play where Frankie Louvu should have honestly, if Jared Goff was wearing a Chiefs jersey, it would have been called roughing the passer.
Oh my God!
Jared Goff got taken out of the game after this hit.
How
I don't know how you could call this shit on Mahomes. Like that
bro,
first roughing the passer. That first roughing the passer they called on Mahomes was nowhere near as bad as this one, and they didn't call
how
it.
bad. So on the Martin had the pick six on the return. Louvu was the lead blocker, and Goff went to go disrupt the play. Obvious excessive hit to the head neck area. Definition of unnecessary roughness. No flag to be found.
No flag
anywhere.
Took him out of the game.
And Teddy Bridgewater did have to come in for a little bit, huh? Didn't he? Dude, I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
Frankie Louvu
for 3 plays.
The league needs to do something because he is an extremely dirty player. And with Hurts being a little banged up, I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I'm a little nervous that he's gonna pull some shit. First, he did it 3 times this year. First with Malik Neighbors, who had to come out of the game, no flag. Then he did it on Jalen Hurts, who was out for basically 3 weeks. And the Eagles were well on their way to winning. No flag, late hit. And now on Goff, who had to come out of the game.
No flag.
And no flag either. None of the 3 times there was any flag. So
very sussy-wussy. I do not like him.
Yeah,
he is my worst enemy.
Goff went back to the locker room. Teddy Bridgewater came in for a little bit, but it didn't matter because guess what? Jameson Williams, little end around, 78 yards to the house. I mean, unbelievable. The Commanders get the ball back. Jayden tosses to De'Ami Brown for 40 yards and sets Washington up inside the Lions' 10-yard line at the 2-minute warning.
Catch.
Great catch, dude.
The Lions defender basically had his hand over his eyes like this.
Dude, it was insane.
He caught the ball.
Literally.
That was nuts. Bonkers.
So 2-minute warning now. And the Commanders said, hey, wait, we're not done yet. Zach Ertz, here you go. Touchdown. 52 points in 1/2 sounds wild. But it's even wilder when you realize 42 points were scored in the second quarter alone. That is the highest scoring quarter of all time in the postseason.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Unreal.
Wow quarter.
So at this point,
the quarter's not even over yet.
Yeah, at this point.
How does the quarter end? This arguably could have changed the whole game.
Yeah, no, this is huge. So the Lions get the ball back, and they're like, hey, we're not done yet either. We're going to go on a little.
31-21.
We got the 2-minute drill. Goff is back at this point, by the way. They go down the field. Goff is looking for Jameson Williams, and Sanistrill in coverage says, no, you're not open. Fires to the end zone, picked off in the end zone before the half. Commanders need to take a 10-point lead to the half. Absolutely game-changing. Absolutely.
Because, I mean, Washington got the ball at the start of the next half.
Yes.
But you could have gone into it down 7 if you even just got a field goal.
Oh, yeah.
Or down 3.
Yeah,
and that would have been so much different than down 10.
Yeah, because now you're down 2 possessions. You don't have the ball first, so you have to make a stop. You make that a 1-possession game, you're feeling a hell of a lot better, right? Like, all right. Settle down. We got this, right? No, they're up 10 on you. And they get the ball first. Mm-hmm. So I don't remember what the score was at this point. There's so many points have been scored, but
it's 31-28 going into the half.
No, it's not. It's a
31-21.
31-21. Okay, that sounds better. So it's a 10-point lead for the Commanders going into the second half. Lions get a rare stop on Washington's opening drive. They started to make Daniels a little bit more uncomfortable in the pocket. Looks like they made some adjustments. And then the Commanders get a stop on 3rd and 2. Looks like the Lions are punting. But then there's a face mask penalty, right? On Monty. Clearly shows the replay. But where's the face mask, right? What did the referees see there? They throw the flag, face mask, they go to replay, no face mask to be found. Very interesting. I don't know what the referees are looking at there. Clearly grabbed the jersey, not the face mask. So the Lions get bailed out.
Continue the drive, and they
continue the drive. Gibbs looks really good on the drive. Empties the playbook. They had the little handoff to Gibbs, flip to Amon-Ra, pick up a 15, and then Gibbs punches it in for 7. So now we got a 3-point game. Daniels rolls out on the ensuing possession. Another 4th down situation for Washington. They pick it up, courtesy of Jayden Daniels on his legs. Heading into the 4th quarter, we've got the Commanders 3rd down inside the Lions 10. The Lions, they stop Washington on 3rd down, but they have 12 men in the huddle on 4th down, which is an automatic 1st and goal for Washington. And Brian Robinson ends up taking it in for 7. So the Commanders get their 10-point lead back. Huge, very costly. And it's
Very
something
costly
it's something that you haven't really seen
because they
from
were going to
Detroit.
go for it on 4th down.
They were, yeah.
They stop them there. That's a game still. You're only down by 3.
You haven't really seen that from Aaron Glenn's defense this year, have you? They're very well coached, I feel like. You know, I know they've had a lot of injuries.
Point, you got so many injuries. You got 2nd string.
I know, but they've been well coached. They've been very well coached, in my opinion. So I thought that was interesting. It was a very costly mistake. Obviously, it led to the touchdown. You know, who knows what would have happened on 4th down, but you don't even get to find out. So Commanders take the 10-point lead back, and then you've got Dan Campbell. Look, you're going to live with the guy. You know he likes to go for it on 4th down. He likes to make all these weird plays. They do a little flip play to Jameson Williams, and he just launches it errantly into triple coverage downfield. Sanistril gets an easy interception, and the Commanders take over. And it's like, you got to wonder what the Lions were thinking there, right? Like, this isn't the time to empty the playbook. This is the time to play your game and try and get the lead back, or at least make it manageable and put yourself in a position where you can get the lead back. This is not the time to be pulling out all the stops, right? Like, you've got a lot of time left in the game. You've got over 10 minutes at this point. I don't know what the play call is there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't agree with it at all.
They're trying to get cutesy with it, but I mean, it's worked for them. But I know this is not the time to
That's
do it.
not the time.
All these kind of plays they were doing, like when they had leads and stuff.
Yeah.
This is not the time to do it.
Yeah. So Commanders take over. Eckler puts them immediately into striking distance with a screen pass. And Dan Quinn, 4th down comes up, not even hesitating at this point, 4th and short. Commanders go for it. They convert Terry McLaurin to the 2-yard line. And then Jeremy McNichols comes in, punches it in. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-possession game with under 8 minutes to go. That's why it was such a costly decision for the Lions to just out of nowhere really pull that out. So it's a 17-point lead now for the Commanders, and at this point you're like, this one might be over, right? They keep making these mistakes. This one might be over.
And it was.
So the Lions get the ball back. They go on a bit of a drive. Jake Bates, they ultimately settle for a field goal here. Jake Bates tacks on a field goal with about 5 minutes to go, cuts it to 14. And then the Lions go onside kick. They don't recover. Zach Ertz gets the ball. Commanders ball. And then the
Washington goes down. They miss a field goal.
Yeah, I think
not that much time left.
Yeah, so Washington gets it. They get into field goal range. It was like a 40-something yarder, I think, that Gonzalez missed. So it's not over yet.
He missed a 44-yard field goal.
Yeah, not over yet.
Over. You're down by.
It's looking bleak. Time's running out. Lions go on a little bit of a drive, and then Goff picked off for the 3rd time. So that's 4 turnovers for those counting at home for Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. And now it's over, and the Commanders knee it out, and the Detroit Lions have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. The Washington Commanders are moving on to the NFC Championship game. This is an incredible story.
Nuts.
This is an incredible story, and it's not even done yet. Not even done yet. The final stats for Jared Goff, 23 of 40, so not efficient at all. He did have 300-plus yards, 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions, though. Tough.
Can't be doing that.
Real tough. Washington is advancing to their first NFC Championship game since 1991, so it's been a while for Commanders fans. I'll tell you what, going on the road as a rookie and hanging 45 on the 1 seed in arguably one of the hardest places to play, pretty nasty work, man. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I got our Commanders facts just while
Mm.
we're talking about them. Aaron's Commanders facts. First one is 14 wins ties the record with Big Ben for most wins by a rookie in NFL history.
wow.
5,113 yards is the most total yards by a rookie in NFL history. There's been in a season.
Yeah.
There has been 5 rookie QBs to make a championship weekend in NFL history. All of them have had a top 3 scoring defense. Jayden Daniels has done it this season with the 18th best scoring defense.
It's crazy.
Nuts. For those counting at home, that's Big Ben, Joe Flacco,
Joe
and Mark
Flacco.
Sanchez.
Yeah. There are a couple other ones.
Commanders on the road this postseason 2-0. Everybody else 0-8.
Yep.
Commanders
had
tied
that stat.
record for most successful fourth down conversion in the full postseason in just 2 games. Jayden Daniels the most passing yards of any QB this postseason and has passed and rushed for 327 yards per game so far this postseason. And Aaron wanted me to share this meme at the end, if we can see it. Hard to swallow pills. Jayden Daniels has not even entered his prime yet. Wow.
Incredible story. It's an unbelievable story. So yeah, that was pretty crazy Saturday, man.
Season.
Pretty crazy Saturday.
Absolutely nuts.
All right, Kyle, why don't you take us to Sunday?
Let's go to Sunday, where we start at the Prudential Center.
Kyle,
Devils played really good in the first period.
I got something for you.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Let's hunt. Let's hunt. Let's hunt. There you see.
Let's hunt.
Let's hunt. Let's hunt.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
I was there.
Wow.
I witnessed it.
I was not there. I was at the Devils game. They sacrificed their lives. I said that already.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I was at the Devils game. Devils played like shit the second and third period. But thank God the Eagles game started in the third period, so I didn't have to care about them anymore.
There you go.
So I'm watching the game. Here we go. First drive. Eagles get the ball first because the Rams deferred. They go methodically down the field.
Dude.
Big pass to Goddard. Saquon Barkley. Then you got Jalen Hurts for 44 yards. He's jealous of Barkley's long touchdown. Let's get him one. Bing bong. He scores. But
Nasty.
Jake Elliott, scary man this whole season.
Dude.
Misses the extra point. I see
good?
that. My heart stinks. Is this going to haunt us later? I don't know. We have to find out. But what was at Matt, as you were at the stadium?
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that? What was the stage reaction to that opening drive?
Well, I was definitely ticked off that
touchdown.
I was definitely ticked off that Jake Elliott missed the PAT. It was like, dude, what are we doing here, right? Like they score a touchdown, they're going to be winning the game, and now it feels like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd was electric, obviously.
There was the snow falling at this point.
No, it was not.
Point,
no,
it did not look like the.
No, so before the game, it was kind of like a mix, like a wintry mix, but it wasn't really cold enough to where it could stick yet. So it was just really wet everywhere, and then they threw a bunch of salt on all the concourses, so it was like this green mush just on the ground, just walking around. So yeah, no snow yet. It was coming down on and off, but it came down. Trust me, it came down later in this game. So pretty electric. Obviously, the threat of Saquon Barkley was a big deterrent for the Rams at that point, because it's kind of like the Lamar Henry problem. It's like, which one do you cover, right? Because they're both able to run it. Yeah, and Hurts made a great play and just took it one missed tackle later and then gone. So I was pumped, even with the missed PAT.
Yeah. Anyway, the next drive, Rams answer back with a drive of their own. I'm just curious to see your reaction. I know when I initially saw it, I thought it was a drop, but they ruled it complete.
It was a catch.
Tyler Higbee pass on third down.
It was a catch.
It was very clearly a catch.
Yeah, it was a catch.
I was curious what the stadium's reaction was.
I mean, they booed, obviously, but it was a catch.
Big play to help keep the Rams drive alive.
Yeah, dude, because they were about to go 3 and out. Like, oh my God, we scored a touchdown and now they go 3 and out. Like,
Kyron Williams continues, had a great opening drive. He ends up getting the touchdown after a big play earlier in the drive, right after that Tyler Higbee catch. So they score. So now you got 7-6. Both teams exchange punts. And then I believe we enter into the this is still the end of the first quarter, I believe. But Eagles get the ball, and we get incomplete to Devontae Smith with with an unnecessary roughness.
Yeah.
One where he kind of threw it in the middle. Devontae Smith normally would catch that ball, but
Yeah, he
again,
dropped
very
it.
clear unnecessary roughness.
Yes, I
The
thought
guy
it
hit the
was.
guy's right into his face.
Yeah,
When
I
he was
thought that was a
defenseless.
good call. I thought that was fine.
Then you got Jalen Hurts for no gain, Dallas Goedert for 6 yards, and then you got Saquon Barkley, 62-yard touchdown, baby.
That man is nasty.
That's the shrine. The shrine.
Nasty,
All
dude.
hail. All hail the shrine.
All hail Saquon, bro. That guy is
So
nasty.
this Saquon run occurred after the Devils game. I am now sitting at the bar after the Devils game to watch the rest of the first half. The snow had not really yet been falling by where we were, but we will continue.
So
at that point,
I'll say one thing at this point after that Barkley touchdown. That's when the snow started to pick up and set.
Okay, that makes sense.
So at this point, it's still not sticking too much, but it's starting to come down, and it's getting colder, and you can tell it's about to snow.
Yeah. So then the Rams get the ball back early on. They get a deep ball right down to Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah,
with Isaiah
man.
Rodgers in coverage. At this point, this is when I realized Quinyon got hurt.
Yeah, so Quinyon had gotten hurt on not this drive, but the previous Rams drive. He had gotten hurt. And it was a shoulder injury, which I'm like, all right, well, he'll be back, right? Because we saw the tent go up and they said he was questionable to return. Went in the locker room, did not return. He was out. So he played, I think it was 11 snaps or something like that for the game. So Isaiah Rodgers had to come in. He had an okay game in coverage. He was
I think he played fairly well.
He was in coverage.
A lot of the catches he let up, he played really good coverage. He just couldn't make that final push to get the play off.
Yeah.
This one in particular, if I remember, he was basically glued to the guy. But Demarcus Robinson just made a great catch.
It was a great ball by Stafford.
Made a phenomenal throw.
It was a great ball by Stafford. I'll tell you that much.
So at that point, then they end up getting a field goal on this drive. So big stop by CJ Gardner-Johnson on 3rd and 2.
Oh yeah,
they're
dude.
At Philly 11.
That was a great.
That was into the touchdown.
That was an excellent tackle. So he actually keyed in. I saw him come up. And I'm like, oh shit, they're running this fucking ball. Stuffed them. They settled for the 3. It was a great play.
Yeah, he's made such a big difference to this defense in general.
Oh yeah.
The Eagles secondary, how it was reformed from last year. I mean, you've seen all the stats or whatever, but they were the bottom 5 defense, and now they're the number 1 defense.
He's made such an impact. Their
additions they made this year with Quinyon, Cooper, CJ, and then Zach Bond, just incredible. Anyway, then you get a punt, and then the end of the half. But at this point,
I do got to talk about.
I believe this is the drive where Jalen got hurt.
Yeah, no.
Right at the end of the half?
No, not yet. I didn't think that was yet. I'm trying to remember when it happened. I thought it was in the 3rd quarter.
I believe it was either at the end of the half or
by the way,
it was at the end of the half, Matt, because
no, you're right. It was.
During when I was at the bar, left the bar at half.
It was the second to last play. You're right. By the way, definition of a hip drop tackle, which they still have not called this year.
They haven't called that all this year. They've only fined people.
Food for thought. No, but here's the thing. So you get sacked, right? And the ball's around midfield or whatever, right? So you're probably going to go Hail Mary. It's 3rd down, though. And the Eagles have a timeout. And he gets sacked with 20 seconds left. So in my head, what I do is I give yourself 2 plays here, right? You could work the boundary of the field to maybe get yourself into field goal position and try a long field goal, right? And then if that doesn't work, then you could try the Hail Mary, right? Sirianni lets it tick down all the way. He gives himself 1 play, and you have the timeout there. I thought that was a mistake. You could have gotten 3 there. You could have tried to play for 3. Yeah. I know you don't have the timeout and you can't work the middle of the field. I get it. But you could go boundary because there were a lot of one-on-one coverages.
Well, I mean, if I recall too, this was also the drive where he threw that deep ball to AJ Brown and it was in double coverage and it was almost easily picked off.
Yeah, it was close. It was on the
That was very
right side.
scary.
Yeah, it was close.
That was arguably, I think, that, and then we'll get to it later. The safety, I think, were Hurts' 2 biggest mistakes of the game.
Yeah. All right. So the Eagles take a 3-point lead into the second half.
Yeah. So they're up 13-10 going into halftime.
At this point, it's coming.
It's
down.
starting to snow.
It's coming.
At this point, I left the Devils game I'm with my girlfriend driving back, and it's very dicey getting back up.
Yeah.
To the
Just to give you
apartment.
guys an idea of what it looked like. There's me and my beer on the railing
Wow.
there.
So we open up the second quarter. Rams get the ball, they punt. Eagles get the ball, they punt. Rams get the ball. They go down the field, they get a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
They had a big start with a big pass to Cooper Kupp. Isaiah Rodgers again, great coverage, but just couldn't make the
Yeah,
final
that one
play.
I don't
Great
really
catch by
blame him too
Cooper
much
Kupp.
on. That was a good catch by Kupp. That was a great throw by Stafford.
Stafford fumbles on an aborted snap, which kind of pushes them out of first and goal to now at the 8 to second and goal at the 15.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles are able to stop them. They end up getting only a field goal out of it, so now they're up. Now they're down 16-13. Eagles get the ball.
Which, hold on, by the way, at this point I was like, these kickers are insane for kicking in these conditions. Windy, snowy, and cold, and they're making them. So
yeah. Then the Eagles, this kind of annoyed me during this drive. Eagles start driving down the field. Eagles thought what I thought was an amazing play. They do like the little read option screen to Dallas Goedert, and he takes it up all the way to the goal line. And I'm like, oh my God, what a play. But then they call Mihai Becton for a legal man downfield, even though he had nothing to do with the play. And also, the Packers did the same shit last week,
and they picked
up
it
the flag.
Yeah.
Bitches.
Becton was
stupid refs.
He was ineligible.
I think he was much farther than the Green Bay guy. To be fair,
yeah, he was.
But
he
it
was,
just still bothers me.
It bothers me, yeah, because that could have easily been a touchdown. So they get the 3.
Jalen Hurts gets sacked. I mean, the Rams' defensive line. I mean, talk about Jared Verse
Jared Verse.
Jared Verse. He
got
some
booed,
shit
dude.
about the Eagles fan. He got booed real hard.
I tell you what, earlier in the game, in the first quarter, they put the quote up there on the jumbotron of what he said. He was like, "I find Eagles fans." He's like, "I hate Eagles fans. They're annoying." And then they had a camera on him, and they were like, "Boo!" They were booing the shit out of him, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, I respect it though because he played phenomenal.
And every time he got a tackle, and they announced the PA announced it, they
did the boo.
Yeah, no, they booed him though. It was crazy.
Yeah, but he did the thumbs down. If you're gonna talk shit, back it up, and he backed it up.
He kind of backed it up, yeah. He kind of backed it up. I gotta
back it up.
I gotta say, he
gotta give him his.
I gotta give the man his props.
Rams defensive line, it's young.
It's good, man.
Be a problem.
Yeah, it's good.
They're gonna be a problem next year.
It's good.
But anyway, Eagles get a field goal. Jake Elliott started a little redemption tour in my eyes. I was like, damn, that's a tough field goal.
Yeah,
I was a little nervous for that 44-yarder, but he hits it in the snow. Rams get the ball. They punt. Eagles get the ball. And Jalen Hurts gets a safety because at this point he's hurt. And he should have seen Dallas. At that point, why are you calling that play call too? They'll drop
I don't have a problem with the play call, Kyle. He didn't pick up the rush at all. I know the protection the protection was not as good on that play as it should have been, but there's still no excuse to stare down the pass rush. And then by the time you make a decision, you're sacked. He needs to get out of the pocket immediately. Now I don't know what he's seeing. I don't know if it's like the snow's in his eyes or whatever. Stafford didn't seem to have a problem. I mean, obviously it's Stafford, so he's a statue.
I mean, Stafford did get a bunch of hits later in some of the games. But
he did. He did. And you know what?
The Eagles did get a bunch of sacks.
The thing what hurts is he's coached and he's told not to throw the ball away. Don't try to play hero ball. Go down, take the sack. He's told to do those things. He's the type of guy that will not lose you football games. And knock on wood, the Eagles haven't turned it over this postseason. So
yeah, well,
it's kind of worked.
The safety's basically a turnover.
No, it's probably worse. It's definitely worse. It should be a turnover, in my opinion. But
yeah. Anyway, the Rams get a safety, 15-16. Not looking good at this point. I'm very stressed in the car. Not very helpful for my girlfriend being the DD driving me back to the apartment. But then, if you recall, the first play happens with the Rams.
I recall.
And Jalen Carter gets right into Kyler Williams' face, forces the fumble, recovered by Isaiah Rodgers, who takes it down 40 yards.
How did we not score on that?
Absolutely electric.
I thought he was gone.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone thought he was gone. I
thought he was gone. I was like, oh my God. I was electric in the car. Stan, what was your opinion on that? Do you remember that when I freaked out in the car for the fumble? You have a statement? Yeah, while we were driving.
Do you have a statement?
I scared her. That's how loud I was. I made the driving worse. Anyway, there was that. But then somehow they don't end up scoring, which was kind of sad.
Yeah. There was a false start on Lane.
Yeah,
Where
Lane Johnson,
where
very
hold on, I
sad.
gotta show you this picture too. I don't know
Well, they
if
had
you're
Barkley down at the one,
I
which
don't know if you're
he
gonna be
was
able
down
to
at the
see it
one. I
here.
don't know if you saw it. I can't see the picture. You gotta show me in the
The
phone.
Rams
I
are
can see
clearly
it.
offsides on that play on the tush push attempt.
Ah,
Clearly, there three of them. Three of them are offsides, and they never call it because it's that play.
yep.
Anyway,
Yep, but they call the false start on Lane Johnson. They ruled Saquon Barkley down earlier in the drive, and they kicked the field
yeah.
goal, which, in my opinion, I think is the right decision.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it was good to
totally.
kick the field goal,
No,
and
totally.
obviously in hindsight, so
Fourth
they
and
kicked the
fourth and
field goal.
six at
Jake
the
Elliott gets it in.
6. Yeah.
Again, I was nervous as Jake Elliott, but at this point, I'm like, he's making these hard kicks in the snow.
Dude,
Maybe he's redeemed himself.
guy hates
But let's
extra points,
continue.
loves field goals. I don't know what it is. Crazy.
We get our next drive, and Matthew Stafford fumbles again. Ball knocked out by Nolan Smith, recovered by Zach Bond
So
at the LA 38. My
admittedly,
gosh.
I had no. So this is a third down play. Admittedly, I had no idea that he actually fumbled it, and I don't know why I didn't think. I thought it was just a sack and everyone was going crazy, right, like normal. And then I saw the jumbotron, and I was showing Zach Bond with like a bunch of the guys behind him. I'm like, that's kind of weird. After a sack, he went to the end zone, and then I like it literally took me like almost 2 full minutes to like realize it was a strip sack. So at this point, I was like, I had stopped drinking, so I was like sobering up, and so because I had to drive later, and I was like, all right, like, and I was like tired and cold and whatever. So I blame it on the weather and the elements, but got the ball back in business.
Got the ball back. Yeah, so Eagles get the ball back. They drive down. They end up only getting a field goal, 37-yarder, another tough field goal.
Another
At this
tough field
point, I'm
goal,
like,
bro.
let's go, Jake.
Because at this point,
going crazy.
Yeah, this was the heaviest snow that I saw during the course of the game. Was literally during this field goal. It was howling, dude. Like, so we were in the corner of the end zone, like up. We were in this place called the Eagles Nest, where it wasn't standing room only, but we had like bar stools around like a railing essentially. So it wasn't as loud. Like the stadium noise wasn't kept in as loud because we were like right by the the exit of the stadium. But the wind, bro.
Yeah, the
howling,
wind was
bro.
howling.
It was, and the snow was just flying against your back.
It's like a little whirlpool of
Dude,
snow.
it was crazy. It was nuts. So
that's bonkers.
Tough field goal, man. He got it.
Yeah, so then the Rams get the ball. Big
so what was
sack
it? 22-15 at this point?
22-15 at this point. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I've returned from the Devils game. I have the game on the TV. I'm very nervous, very excited. The Rams get the ball. Big sack by Moro Ojomo.
Yes.
And big plays by Owen Burke stepping in for Nakobe Dean.
I got to tell you, man.
Big tackle by Kyron. And then he had the big tip ball on that third down that was going straight to Puka. Who was open.
I was shouting his name. I was shouting his name throughout the course of the game. He had an unreal game.
Really stepped up.
He had an unreal game, man. And we didn't see too much of Jeremiah Trotter Jr., which is they were kind of like supposed to.
I don't think we really see any of it. I don't think he played at all.
If he can play like that, or Oren Burks can play like that, keep him in, man. Phenomenal game.
He did play phenomenal. Then we get our next drive, which was just one play, very simple. Saquon Barkley, 78-yard touchdown.
I said that I said that I was in the corner of the end zone and that wasn't that loud. This was deafening. It went through the wind, through the snow. And dude, the craziest thing, there's a picture of Jaylen, right? He gets past the first level and Jaylen's already got his arms up. I was doing the same thing because he made it past there, and I'm like, he's gone. He did it again. He did it again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. I'm getting chills thinking about it.
I can't even believe. I didn't. Obviously you were there, so
God,
you don't even need to know. But have you seen the video going around of like the view from the field?
Yeah,
and as soon as he breaks free, the crowd just erupts.
Honestly, you know what it reminded me of watching that was the Minneapolis Miracle, where Diggs catches the ball and they're like, yeah. And then they realize that he's going to score a touchdown. And then they're like, yeah. That's literally what that's literally what it reminded me of. Like Saquon got past the first level and then made one man miss and then he was gone. And just jubilation was unreal. So at this point, the game is over, right? Tell me it's over.
I think the game is over.
Tell me it's over.
Anyway, I'm just going. Before I get into it, just one more thing on this. I heard Barkley. One of their Eagles reporters. I was listening to their podcast, but they were saying they talked to Barkley, and Barkley earlier in the week, like on Thursday or Friday, he was saying that he likes stack boxes because he feels like it's like feast or famine. Because once you get past the second level, you're home free.
Makes sense.
Like if you I don't know if you saw this, Matt. I'm assuming you probably did, but like the close up of they showed it during the broadcast, but right before that play, like Hurts audibles out of whatever they originally called, and it's because like right when before he audibles out, they zoom in and they show Barkley like turn to him and he like whispers to him. He's like, he gives a little smile.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I know what's gonna happen, and it happened. Oh my god!
Why do you
But
think
then
Hurts?
Jake Elliott,
Hurts
who
was smiling,
I'm
man.
like, Jake Elliott has redeemed himself
Nah,
from his mixed extra points. He misses it,
dude.
and now I'm like, oh no,
Dude.
now they're only up by 13. Then the Rams get the ball back with 4 minutes to go.
And
Honestly,
they go.
Sam can know this. I fell to the ground after that Barkley touchdown. I was like, oh my god, this game is over. I am so happy.
I think
can't believe it.
everyone in that stadium kind of thought the game was over at that.
Rams get the ball back. They start driving. Puka, big 20-yard catch to start the drive. They go Tutu Atwell has a big game. Cooper Kupp has a big game. And eventually, Cody Parkinson, right after Tyler Higbee got called out for being hurt, he ends up scoring with 2:48 to go. The Eagles get the ball back. In my head, I'm a little more nervous now, but I'm like, you have Barkley. Just run it 3 times.
Yeah.
They don't run it 3 times.
You would think.
They do.
Well,
like
they run it on
like
first down.
Oh,
and then they do this play action
like,
out, and Hurts gets sacked.
Who's hurt, who can barely move,
dude,
and they leave like the blocker to come unrush. It was terrible. Why would you be calling that?
It's insane. Now, granted, it still worked out because the Rams had to burn all their timeouts. Why?
Yes, I mean obviously that was
are
good.
you
He
not
sacked.
running the? He just scored in one play. He literally just scored in one play. Why? I don't get the call at all, dude.
I don't get the call at all. It's terrible. And now, terrible call by Kellen Moore.
Yeah, and now this game comes down to a stop that the Eagles have to make.
Yeah,
so all of a sudden.
They take out all the timeouts. They punt with 2:35 to go. Rams get the ball. At this point, I am freaking the fuck out.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god,
I was too.
This is the team of last year.
We literally no. It's not even that. I literally saw it. We saw it this year already with Atlanta.
Yeah,
we saw this week too.
This year with Atlanta.
That's what I was thinking about.
With Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
Arguably too.
Yeah.
In overtime.
That one wasn't
right
that bad.
At the end of the game. That wasn't as bad, but then you got turnover. Then they start driving on the field. They're making some big plays. Big play of Cooper Kupp got sprayed. I thought Cooper DeJean on that first pass right after the 2-minute warning.
Oh my gosh.
That was right in his hands.
Yeah, bro.
Oh my god. If he caught that.
I know. That was tough.
He didn't catch that, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then they're driving. Puka has that amazing catch.
So I had an excellent
37
view.
yards.
I had an excellent view of this play.
We're cooked.
I have an excellent view of this play. This play is 110% on Darius Slay. He had him perfectly covered, saw the ball, slowed down, mistimed the interception, gets over his hands barely, and Puka is so good that he made an excellent play on the ball and was able to come down with it.
Yep.
100% on Darius Slay there.
The one thing I will say, I mean, I think Slay played well, but like he didn't play on a couple plays. But in general, I think something that I'm gonna skip it for the end of the game just because of the national narrative.
Yeah.
Anyway, then they end up going on the field, get a false start, 2nd and 12. They run down, they throw it to Puka, little short pass. It's 3rd and 2 at the Philly 13.
I'm freaking out.
With 1:14 to go.
I'm freaking out.
I am freaking the fuck out. This is how it's gonna end. Like I was talking with Aaron, our good friend of the pod. I was thinking like, oh my god, there's an actual reality where we can go to the NFC Championship game, something that we've talked about since we became friends in college, and it's actually could happen. When we initially joked about it at the beginning of the week, not thinking that the Commanders could pull it off, and I was like, can you imagine now that it's gonna get ruined by the Eagles? We were so close, but Jalen Carter says, no, Kyle, you are going to the NFC Championship game. And he sacks Matthew Stafford for 9 yards, and I'm going nuts. But it's still 4th down. What's going to happen? And Jalen Carter comes up again with a big pressure, which allows Matthew Stafford to throw it out of bounds, targeting Puka Nacua, and the game is over. The game is over, Matt. And the Eagles win. I fall to the ground. I'm getting calls from my parents.
I got so many text messages after that, bro. It was insane.
Oh my God. It was
We
bonkers.
we are watching a superstar in the
But
making.
take us to the link, Matt.
We are watching.
That was me in my apartment.
Well, I was
Take me to
shitting
the
myself
link.
too. I mean, it was a loud like the 3rd and 2 play was like loud, but like you could kind of tell like just the people immediately in my vicinity were like it was a nervous loud, like you could tell. The Carter play was like everyone was just like one more stop, like we were going fucking crazy, and then you could kind of tell as Stafford threw it, like the ball was sailing out of bounds, like everyone kind of was just like standing up and then like, oh my God, I was hugging people, I was doing all sorts of shit, man. I was like, let's fucking go, dude, let's do it. Jubilation, like wow. Like just a sigh of relief was. And then on the walk back to the parking lot, it kind of sunk in. I was like, holy shit, we're 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Like, holy shit. And we get to play that game
Absolutely
at home.
bonkers.
So Eagles win. Final score 28-22. They're moving on to the NFC Championship game.
Jalen Hurts obviously injured.
Yeah, so
he was hopped on
Quinyon,
perks, if you could tell from his interview.
I was concerned with Quinyon just because I didn't particularly love the play of Isaiah Rodgers in coverage. He said he's good to go next week. I believe him. He's obviously going to go.
From what I hear from
undergoing
the
some
doctors
tests.
is they think they're playing cautious with, especially with the snow.
Yeah,
I think that the he probably suffered like a sprained joint, like a type 1, which if he just takes some perks and just do some PT this
so he's
week,
playing.
fine.
I'm actually more concerned about Jalen Hurts since
I am as well.
Nothing official has been said yet. But I did like.
He says he's playing as of the
exit
interview,
playing.
but
He's
if
playing.
you listen to it, he was definitely on the perks.
No, he's playing. He's definitely playing.
Man could not drive.
It's just a matter of how's the knee.
How effective is he going to be?
Yeah. So the whole key to the Eagles' success here is, like I said earlier, I liken it to the Ravens, Lamar, and Derrick Henry combo, is you can't guard them both. But if you know one of them can't run, then you can. So I expect a lot of pressure initially from the Commanders. They should be trying to get after Jalen Hurts. And we're going to find out whether or not he's good. They might just shoot him up with like a bunch of horse strength, to be honest, and just be like,
"That's what they did in this game." Did you see his post game interview?
Oh, dude,
he was
like, rain, sleet, snow, Eagles go, woo,
Eagles go, woo.
Yeah, man was high as a kite.
We'll see what happens. I gotta play.
All right, as much as I would love to stick around and talk about this forever.
Also, just quick thing, I was saying it earlier. The national media narrative being like, oh my God, anybody who says they hate snow games, you suck, because snow games are awesome.
Oh my God. So that was the first snow game I've ever been in attendance for. And that was by far the best.
Amazing.
That was by far the best game I've ever been to. By far.
Oh, I would imagine. That was one of the best Eagles games I've ever watched.
My God. Wonderful.
Okay, yeah. But like snow games are awesome. Anybody who says they suck is bad. AK Curry Warner, you're bad. The second thing is all the people on national media that are like, oh my God, the Rams, if it wasn't the snow, they would have lost. The snow is the great equalizer.
Dude.
You realize that? Bruh? Like on offense, these receivers running the ball, like the receivers have the advantage. Most people think like, oh, snow game, you have to run the ball because you can't pass. No, passing, actually, the receivers have an advantage because you know how much harder, like when you know where you're going in the snow, that's not as hard to slip. You don't even know where you're going when you're defending. You just have to guard the guy.
Here's the thing. I think you have the advantage when you have Saquon Barkley on your team. And that's
that too.
And that's my take on that.
But I think Barkley is he has the most total scrimmage yards against one team ever in a season with like 521.
Yep.
He also has the record for like most 60-yard plus rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, in one season.
In one season and against a particular team. He could tie that record again by having it against two teams if he breaks another 50-yard run against Washington. Because he already has 3. So like screw you, nation media. The Eagles were a better team.
They hate, man.
The snow is the great equalizer.
They hate.
I know, obviously, like Rams are a warm weather team. They're all gonna be like, "Oh, snow." The Eagles probably didn't like the snow either. Josh Sweat tweeted being like, "Dude, fuck the snow. I would rather play on the fucking crappy Brazil field or the crappy Saab Master Super Bowl field than this crappy snow field. So like it wasn't like the Eagles players liked it either. So it's just like, anybody who hates snow games, it was like, oh my god, the Eagles played on the snow too, and it's just an L take, and anybody who says it is a loser.
I agree.
And hates fun. So screw you.
Speaking of snow games, Sunday
Another
night,
snow game.
6 o'clock.
The most anticipated game of the season to this
The
point.
Buffalo Bills are finally going to the AFC Championship game.
Again.
27-25 over the Baltimore Ravens. We got a lot to talk about in this game. So the Bills, honestly, I loved their game plan. Initially, they were putting plenty of bodies in the box earlier. Baltimore had a bit of difficulty running the ball in their opening possession. Lamar to Bateman for the first touchdown.
Big play by Isaiah Likely.
It was a big play by Isaiah Likely. They had 2 third-down conversions. Passing game was working downfield, which I believe this was their opening possession.
This was their opening possession.
So the Bills get the ball.
Bills answer back.
Yeah, really, honestly.
Josh Allen
Tavius.
Touchdown.
Yeah,
Ray Davis touchdown.
Don't even get me started here. So early in the drive, Tavius Johnson made a really good play on Josh Allen. It was 3rd and 1. Made it 4th and 2. And then the legs of Josh Allen won't be stopped on 4th down. They pick it up. And then they go 7 straight runs, as Kyle said, capped off by Ray Davis. So I had a touchdown parlay that had hit 3 out of 4 legs. Who was the 4th leg, you might ask?
That's the standard parlay.
Who was the 3rd leg?
You always miss the last
leg. Who was the 4th leg, Kyle? Take a guess.
It was James Cook.
It was James Cook, bro. He got you all the way to the 1-yard line just to bring in Ray Davis. Oh, here you go, Ray. Touchdown. Fuck you, Ray. Fuck you, McDermott. Give me my money. I got cheated out of $110 because they decided to give it to Ray Davis. Stupid. Anyway.
What a bomb.
So the Bills tied up.
And then here we go.
Bills D-line.
This is the moment that I think you might have thought different. Oh, okay.
Well, I was just gonna say they were getting some sort of push
the next possession
in the first quarter. Oh no, we're on the next possession. I'm saying they were getting a lot of push.
Oh yeah.
And push came to shove because Lamar got picked off, man. I don't know.
This throw by Lamar.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it a little before we jumped on the pod, but I said that I think around this point of the game is when I realized that I had a feeling Buffalo was going to take this one away, and it was going to take this one away by a lot.
I actually watched this play
because I thought it was a terrible pick by Lamar.
I watched this play a bunch of times, and I watched the reactions and just the way the route was run. I think there had to be some sort of miscommunication with Bateman there. It was either that, it's either a miscommunication or Lamar just did not see the high safety because it was literally right to him. So,
well, if you recall on that play, Matt Milano, who was not there in the first meeting of these two earlier in the season, he ran up in the pressure and was basically right up in Lamar's face, which then caused Lamar to throw the ball.
Yeah.
So I think in general, there was a little bit of miscommunication, but I think in general,
it might have just been a panic throw.
I think that it's just a panic throw, and I don't think it was a good decision by Lamar. But when I saw the interception, I was like, oh my god, the playoff Lamar narratives are starting to form.
Yeah.
And at that point, I live bet Buffalo to win by -2.5.
There we go.
Because it was plus odds.
Oh, bad beat.
But yeah, well, we'll get to that. But that was what I did.
Yeah, so Buffalo takes over. Ravens actually force a punt. Good hold by them. They did a good job not letting Josh Allen escape the pocket. Ravens get the ball back. Justice Hill got going on some runs. He actually looked really good in this game. Whenever they gave it to him,
he did. He had a couple really good plays.
He had
especially
good chunk
early
plays.
in the game. Early in the game when Derrick Henry really hasn't really gotten going yet.
Yeah,
they kind of used him, and then also on the 2-minute drills and stuff. But he had a very solid game. I'm gonna look up his box score real quick.
Yeah,
you can continue.
He had a really good game. Lamar actually
finished the day with he had 6 for 50 on the ground, and he had 2 for 7 in the air.
Yeah,
that's.
I feel like every
6
run
for 50. That's pretty good.
Every run he had, I felt like
10 yards a carry.
Yeah, every run he had, I felt like was 10 plus. So Lamar actually fell down. I don't know if you remember that. He tripped over his own lineman, which disrupted the drive a little bit, but gets to Anthony Miller. They would keep the drive going. And then Lamar turns it over again. This time it's a bad snap. Regains possession. But then he just gives it up to DeMar
Just because
Hamlin
get in the middle
as
gets
he's getting
sacked by
tackled.
DeMar
Yeah,
Hamlin,
and then Von
and he
Miller
just kind of like drops it.
Von Miller picks it up, almost houses it. By the way, great looking
Dude, I
run
thought
from
he was
Miller.
gonna house it, and I felt so good about my live bet.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, my gut feeling is so totally correct.
so that's 2 straight turnovers for the Ravens. This time the Bills do end up capitalizing. 4 plays, they take it in for 6. Bass tacks on the extra point, makes it 14-7 Bills with 8:52 left in the second. And then I thought on the next Ravens possession, there was a late hit out of bounds on Lamar. I thought he was clearly out of bounds. It was a late hit. No penalty.
Yeah, but his name's not Mahomes.
Yeah,
and
his
he was
name's
wearing
not
purple
Mahomes.
instead of
So
red, so
Mahomes
it's
does
okay.
get that call, by the way. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Lamar finds Bateman again for 42 this time. Sets the Bills or the Ravens up at the. So here's the thing. That play set the Ravens up at the 2-yard line of Buffalo. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? If
you run with Derrick Henry.
How many times do you run with Derrick Henry?
4.
So they stuff him on first down. And then instead of going right back to him, they drop back with Lamar, scrambles around, ends up getting sacked. So the Bills hold on 3rd and goal, and now Baltimore settles for 3. Again, I don't agree with the play calling there, and it's a very consequential.
I don't agree with the play calling there either, man. Why don't you just do RPOs with Lamar?
Yeah,
that's your strength.
Honestly,
what are you thinking? And at this point, I'm feeling real good about my minus 2.5.
Yeah, so 14-10 Bills.
My validations of the Ravens collapsing are so true. It's amazing.
It's 14-10 Bills. They get the ball back. They're driving, and then I honestly think they get bailed out again. 3rd and 5, late flag.
Oh yeah,
late
this was
flag
bad.
on Kyle Hamilton.
I thought it was good. I thought it was gonna be offensive.
That's what I said. I said the same thing when I was watching it back yesterday.
And Travius White.
Yeah.
I thought
By the way,
sure that was offensive.
Yeah, just for the record, I didn't watch the game live because I was driving back. I missed the entire game, so I had off yesterday, so I rewatched the entire game yesterday. But yeah, it was a late flag, and in my opinion, a weak call against Kyle Hamilton. So a DPI gives the Bills a first down.
It wasn't Kyle Hamilton or Tre'Davious White.
I thought it was Kyle Hamilton. Yeah,
no, it's Tre'Davious White.
All right, so it was Tre'Davious White. Anyway, at any point, at any reason, we call.
I'm feeling real good about my bet at this point too, because I thought for sure it was offensive pass interference, but then they called defense, and I was like, "Oh baby,
yeah,
even the refs are on my side."
It's testing.
So I'm feeling real good. Josh Allen ends up scoring.
Yeah. So the Bills,
Bing bong.
They capitalized.
21-10 at the half.
Yeah, they capitalized. There was less than 30 seconds in the half, I believe.
They took out all the time too on that drive.
Took down all the time. Josh Allen takes it in for the touchdown. So into the half, 21-10 Bills. Kyle, you're feeling good. Buffalo, you gotta be feeling good.
Phenomenal.
And then the tide starts to turn a little bit. The Ravens
start to feel a little
by the way, Buffalo gets the ball first in the second half. So you're really feeling good if you're
I was
feeling
Buffalo. Real solid.
So the Ravens definitely made some second half adjustments. They make Buffalo go 3 and out on their opening drive. And then the Ravens, they start running the football. And here they come. Here they come. Now, Buffalo does hold out. They end up settling for 3, the Ravens do. Could have been 7. They did this stupid toss play to Justice Hill that completely threw them off. They were running north to south the entire drive, and then they tried to go outside. I didn't like the play call there. So could have been 7. They ended up settling for 3. All right, no problem. And then it was a very interesting decision by Buffalo because they ended up, I don't know if you saw this, but the first half they were kind of going downfield a lot. They ended up shortening up the passing game in the third quarter, and I wasn't so sure that was a good decision.
Josh Allen didn't really even pass that much at all.
No, he only ended up
he finished with almost the same as Jalen Hurts.
127 yards. He had
127 yards.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't know. They shortened up the passing game. It's a lot of screen passes. I don't know. It's like if you want to compensate for the Ravens' increase in pressure around the the line of scrimmage by throwing it shorter, that's fine. But utilize the rest of the field, right? Use the middle.
Yeah.
Do some bubble screens. Work the boundary, right? It was just screen after screen, and I thought that was a very interesting decision by Buffalo. So the Bills punt. Ravens get the ball back. A lot of 2 tight end sets for the Ravens. Worked out very well because the running game continued to spring to life. They go for 68 yards on a touchdown drive, running the ball, that is. 68 yards on the ground. Derrick Henry takes it in himself. The run game
really started to explode at this point. I'm starting to get a little nervous.
So it's 21-19.
They learned from their mistakes. AFC Championship last year and did not abandon the run when they were down.
So it's 21-19 Bills at this point. with the fourth quarter approaching, what
I
do
am
you
no longer covering -2.5. I'm very,
what do
very
you
upset
do if you're Baltimore? You go for 2?
here. No, I think the extra point was the
You
right
take
call.
the points. That's interesting.
Oh,
I like points. I like taking points when you can. I only want to go for 2
also, I think if
if
you're
you
going for
need
2,
to.
you run with Derrick Henry.
I forget what the play call was there. I don't have it
They
written
did.
down.
They did a pass to Isaiah Likely that was incomplete.
I think Lamar ran around a little bit and it was incomplete or
Yeah, he kind
something.
of got like pressured or whatever.
So yeah,
But it
the
was
Ravens
incomplete.
end up going for 2 and don't convert. So it's still a 2-point game. Yeah, see, the thing is, it's like you still have a whole quarter to play. Your defenses looked a lot better. Your offenses looked a lot better. I don't think you necessarily have to take the
Oh,
2 or
I
go for
messed
2
up.
there.
I don't mind going for 2
No,
there.
I don't mind it.
I
I'm
was
not saying
in
it's a
my
bad
head
call.
in my head I was thinking about Buffalo's decision later in the game with
Yeah.
the field goal or going for 4th down. But no, in my opinion, I think
No, I
either
don't.
way
I
that
don't.
doesn't
I don't
matter.
necessarily mind going for 2 there. It's fine. I'm not going to
I
criticize
think the
Harbaugh
reason
for
why
doing
you
it.
might not go for 2 there is just the fact that they were having trouble in the close to the red in the goal line situations all night.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's a terrible decision, but it's like your defenses looked a lot better. Your offenses looked a lot better. You might as well take the point, right? And I mean, obviously, hindsight's 2020. It ended up biting them in the end, but I don't know. So they don't get it. 21-19 Buffalo. Bills get a field goal, 51 yards, and some not so good
Yeah,
conditions.
some tough conditions. And Tyler Bass is not
Great kick.
necessarily one of the better kickers.
No, he's
That
struggled
was a
a bit
great kick
this
by
year.
Tyler
So
Bass.
51 yards extends Buffalo's lead 24-19. Um, Bills they end up or Ravens on their ensuing possession, I should say. The Bills end up stopping Henry on third and short. But the Ravens go with that tush push formation with Mark Andrews. They end up picking it up.
Mark Andrews, what a guy.
So speaking of Mark Andrews, little later in this drive, picks up a nice gain of 20 yards and spins around and Terrell Bernard punches the ball out and the Bills recover. And that's the
Bing bong.
third turnover of the game for Baltimore. I don't know why Andrews why is Andrews turning backwards there? I don't get dude, go forward. Like I get trying to make a play and get some extra yards, but just go forward, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
Big
rough.
So Buffalo gets the ball back. They continue to pass short, but it was interesting that I made that observation in the third quarter about them not utilizing most of the field. In the fourth quarter, they finally started to use the middle of the field and they used the boundary more. And that was honestly, I think that was a game-winning in-game adjustment by Sean McDermott. It was a stark contrast from what we saw in the third quarter. They knew it wasn't working. All right, they're onto the screen. They're onto the little bubble routes or whatever. Let's use the middle of the field. We can still pass short. That's fine. We'll run the ball. Great in-game adjustment by Sean McDermott there.
However, I think they messed up on the 3rd and 2.
Yeah, so you're talking about third and goal?
Third and goal, I should say.
Third and goal. Yeah, so they gave it to Josh Allen.
They did a shotgun draw.
Yeah, it was interesting. They don't really go under center. I think you
call a run with James Cook, and then you maybe do the Josh Allen tush push.
Yeah,
or maybe you even do 2 Josh Allen tush pushes.
The Ravens hold off.
I don't think a draw there is not necessarily the right call.
They don't go under center a lot. They don't. No. It's interesting, right? Like you think, all right, let's pound it. Let's get our 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends out here. Let's just pound it up, right? We got two shots at it, right? Yeah, they went shotgun draw with Josh Allen. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it works a lot, so I can't really blame them. So the Ravens hold off the Bills on.
So what do you do? 4th and goal.
I take the points.
Yard line.
I take the points.
You take the points.
Okay,
I would also take the points.
I take the points. You make it not a 2-possession game. But you make it an 8-point game.
1 possession game.
You make it an 8-point game. So it's at this point it's 27-19 Buffalo. Ravens started to use timeouts on that drive, so they got 1 timeout with 3:29 left.
They got 3:29 to go.
So
I'm nervous for my -2.5.
So the Ravens
-2.5 is also because I didn't bet the Bills money line on time to get plus money on it, and I knew the Bills were going to win. I was like, 2.5 points. I'm feel confident about it.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens.
So the Ravens potentially final drive, 3:29 left, 1 timeout. They start at their own 12 because of a holding call on the kickoff. Lamar makes a great play to Wallace. I don't even know what his first name is, to be honest. But He throws across
Yeah,
his
because
body,
at
which
this
is
point,
usually
Bateman got hurt. Oh no, Bateman got hurt later in the
he
drive.
got hurt later in the drive. So Lamar throws across his body, but they pick up 30 plus. So great play. They move the ball down very efficiently, and they're inside the Buffalo 30. Lamar drops back to throw, finds Isaiah Likely. Great protection, had all the time in the world to throw. And he catches the ball.
24 yards.
So we've got a 27-25 ball game. Now, because you didn't kick the extra point earlier, you got to go for 2. Again, not criticizing the decision, just food for thought. They had it, Kyle. They had it.
Yeah, it was in his hands.
They had
I was
it.
like, oh my God, this game's tied.
It was a little rub route to Mark Andrews, corner end zone. Just dropped it, man. Just dropped it. I mean, that's tough. That's really tough.
That's tough. That's real tough.
It was a very...
I low-key kind of was like, that would have been nice because then maybe Josh Allen could have gone down the field and got covered the -2.5.
or something, yeah.
So I was kind of bummed.
It's haunting for Baltimore. So
the Mark Andrews, bro. Oh my God. If you look at his playoff stats, he is not a playoff performer. He's even worse than Lamar.
Game. I mean, look, he had that drop. Obviously, it was consequential.
What do you mean he had a good game? He lost. He had the drop that lost in the game, and the
I'm saying
that
statistically.
also
I'm saying
lost
no.
in the game.
I'm saying statistically.
Statistically, it was bad.
No, statistically,
he had the
catches wise, he had a lot of yards, man. Obviously,
how many yards did he have?
He had the fumble and 2 drops.
5 for 61 and a fumble, and a drop.
Yeah, 2 drops.
That's not good.
2 drops.
That's not worth 61 yards of production.
Yeah.
And 2 QB sneaks.
Well, he had a drop earlier in the game on their 3rd drive, which would have made it like 2nd and 3, and then Lamar fumbled after that. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
So the
Ravens lose heartbreaking fashion.
Yep, Bills recover the onside kick. Ty Johnson picks up the first down, and the Bills are moving on to the AFC Conference Championship game in Arrowhead versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So
you want a fun fact of the day of divisional weekend?
Go for it.
Every single team that won the yardage battle had more yardage. They all lost.
Yeah. Crazy.
Granted, they almost all lost. They all lost the turnover battle as well.
Yeah, I mean that's I was gonna say that
the ball protected in the playoffs.
That should come with an asterisk.
Turnovers are huge.
Yeah, that should come with an asterisk. So, well, think about this though. This was a 2-point game that came down to the final play to send it to overtime, and yet the Bills committed 0 turnovers and the Ravens committed 3. So it's like they should have won in theory if they just took care of the football. You know, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Played a clean game.
So I know we're running out of time here a little bit, but I just wanted to ask you real quick, what is the narrative now around Lamar Jackson in the playoffs? So in 8 career postseason games,
hasn't changed.
In 8 career postseason
he's really
games,
good in regular season, and he sucks in the playoffs.
In 8 career postseason games, he has a record of 3-5, 13 touchdowns to 11 turnovers.
I think he's very similar to Peyton Manning in his earlier years. Because that was the whole narrative about Peyton.
Yeah, right.
He can't win the big one. I think Lamar eventually will because he's just so good and so dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to hope he stays healthy because of his style of play. Because I love to watch Lamar.
Right.
He's really fun to watch. I was a big Lamar hater for a while because I was on he's a running back train. And I had him on my fantasy team this year. He almost won me a chip. It was very close. I hate Brandon Aubrey, but that's a side note. But anyway... I became a Lamar lover, and I'm sad he lost, even though I did technically bet against him in this game.
I kind of agree with you. We just can't win the big one, and it might just be a product of, I mean, it's the turnovers, man. It's clearly a problem for him in the playoffs. I don't know what it is. You know, I know the conditions weren't the best, but Josh Allen played in the same conditions, so it's like...
Yeah, I think just sad, too. It's the fact that, like, Brady and Mahomes have kind of just spewed the whole, like, how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. Like Brady won 7, Mahomes has already won 3, and he's probably gonna win more.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that like it's so hard. Like there's only like there's been like almost 60 Super Bowls. Only like 30 quarterbacks have won Super Bowls.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's just like only like 10 have won more than 1, and only like 4 have won like more than 3.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like skews everybody's opinion on it.
It's
only 2 teams can make it.
Yeah,
it just sucks that it happens to be Kansas City every fucking time.
Yeah. One more note on this game is the Bills finished the 2024 season with another home victory. That makes them 10-0 at home this season. Undefeated at home this season.
Orchard Park, baby.
Crazy. Don't go to
Dude, are we
Buffalo.
gonna go to Orchard? Do we want to go to Orchard Park next year?
Yes, absolutely. I want to get to Buffalo so bad for a game. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah.
Wow.
All right. Obviously there's no KBTs this week.
No KBTs this week. Only 2 games, and you can't the odds get messed up if you bet the over-unders and the spreads for the same game. So no KBTs. KBTs is over for the season. Finished 10-7.
We had a great run.
Up 7 units. 17 if you combine the feast and the tease Thanksgiving weekend.
I did put together some notes though, very briefly.
Oh,
I've got a best bets for conference championships. I got 4 props for you.
Props.
4, 1 for each team.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear these.
I want to hear your opinion on these. All right, I did a little bit of research. And I kind of went with my gut a lot on it, and my gut's been working so far. So, what?
Matt's props. Like, what's a Matt's Mets? That's a baseball team.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure something
Matt's
out.
money.
If we hit, we'll figure something out.
Matt's money makers.
Matt's money makers. There you go. I love it.
Matt's money, the KBTs and Matt's money makers.
All right.
Let's see. What's your money makers, Matt?
For the Washington Commanders,
I'm gonna place this right now.
De'Ami Brown over on receiving yards. The over/under is 42.5. Minus 110 right now. De'Ami Brown has had 89 and 98 yards in his 2 playoff games, and will most likely not be drawing any attention from Quinyon Mitchell. The Commanders have been on a roll.
Yeah, but he's gonna be facing Koopy.
I get it. I understand. The Commanders are on a roll right now, and I think the over is gonna hit easy. I think it's so low, dude. Honestly, they put the ball in Jayden Daniels' hands a lot. As long as the Eagles are able to effectively shut down the run game, I think they'll be throwing a lot more than people will think. I like De'Ami Brown's over on receiving yards. For the Eagles, this one's kind of...
Oh, just side note on this game. Did you see how much the line has moved?
No.
It opened at 4.5. It's at 6.
I thought it opened at 6.
No, it opened at 4.5.
Damn. All right. Money's coming in on Philly. Speaking of Philly, we've got Saquon Barkley, 100-plus yards, and an anytime touchdown. This is a 2-pick lay. I know I'm kind of cheating here.
Oh. You're a little cheater.
Dude, 100-plus and a touchdown is still minus 140, so I know it's not the best value.
Do you know what his actual line is?
129.5, bro. It's insane.
No, it's 132.5. It's the biggest over-under line in NFL history for rushing yards.
All right, well, here's my reasoning. Barkley's been unstoppable. All right? Last time he played the Commanders, this exact prop hit in the first quarter. Okay. If Jalen Hurts is 100% on that knee, I expect a huge game from Barkley. Only because the Commanders will have to compensate for Jalen Hurts in the run game. This will open up opportunities for Saquon. I think 100 yards and a touchdown feels safe. So,
all right, let's get to the next one.
That's mine. For the Bills, I've got Josh Allen over on passing yards. The over-under is 228.5 at minus 115. I know Allen has struggled a little bit recently. I don't want to say struggled, but like they haven't really been passing as much with Josh Allen. I contribute that partially to the weather from last week, but also just kind of the game plan around Baltimore, keep the ball out of Lamar's hands. I know they're going to obviously be trying to do something similar with Mahomes and the Chiefs. But this over has hit for Josh Allen in each of his last 4 games versus Kansas City. I think that's going to change I think the lack of the passing game, for lack of a better word, is going to change this time. I don't know. I just got a feeling. I feel like it's going to be a higher scoring than a lot of people think. I know both teams like to run the ball, but I expect both quarterbacks to have relatively big games through the air. So I feel like over 228.5 feels like a good play at minus 115. For the Chiefs, now I did want to throw in kind of a good odds value bet. I didn't want to do all favorites or all minus picks. So my bet for the Chiefs is Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown at plus 180. This is tremendous odds. Let me tell you, I hit on this this past weekend. Great value pick. He has played in 5 career postseason games. Kareem Hunt has, and he scored in at least once in each one of them. I hit on this last week, as I just said. I'm going to bet it again this week, so give me Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown plus 180. I may or may
So
not
you're
post this on Sunday. I'll see. I'll think about it. And that's
so just I just put a little money on it because it's pretty long odds.
yeah.
Plus 1,250
Mm.
is the odds for this all. I my odds were slightly different than what you read for a couple of them,
Yeah, yeah.
but
What are you on, FanDuel?
yeah, it's I'm on BetMGM,
Okay, so okay. I got these odds from DK. So
but that's what
so
I'm seeing.
what's 10 net you? What's $10 net you?
I didn't bet $10, but
Or whatever
I
you
could
bet.
just do the math real quick. I just threw a little money on it because I was like, that's a lot.
$10
But
ain't
I
nothing.
put 240 on
Ah,
it just to make my account even, and that's to win 3240. So
oh, so then you're probably gonna make. That's probably what. Wait, how much did you put on
so
it?
you if you bet 10 on it, you win 120
There you go.
if 125.
Yeah, I feel like
So
that's
there you
pretty
go.
good. I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So
We'll see what
you
happens.
want to take one or two of them? Think about it. Those are probably what are going to be my plays this week. I might bet them individually. I might do one little lay, $5, $10 on it. But yeah.
All right, well, we're running out of time. Let's just do our quick little
All right,
mini
all right.
preview.
I know we're running out of time.
First off,
We're on a roll though. Hold
we
on.
have
Now wait,
breaking news.
I did want to ask you. Wait, what'd you say?
We have breaking news.
What?
For the
What?
pod, we have breaking news.
What?
The pod, where will the pod be on Sunday?
Are we going?
I think we are.
Oh shit, man.
And this pod's not
Let's hunt.
biased.
Let's hunt.
We
Let's
will
hunt.
even have friend of the pod,
Oh yeah.
Aaron, at the game with us to give the Commander's perspective.
Oh
But
dude.
it's gonna be a hell of a time.
We're going, man.
Oh my gosh.
I went to the
NFC
wild card game.
Championship.
Well, Kyle and I went to the wild card game.
We both went to the
I
wild
went to the
card
divisional round game. I gotta complete the trifecta. I'm there for you guys. Well, I'm there
Eagles
for
are the first team to host the wild card round, the divisional round, and the NFC Championship.
Yes, sir.
First team to ever do so.
So I'm picking the Eagles.
I'm picking the Eagles too.
I have to, right? I have to.
Do the Eagles cover? Is it a dominant performance or is it a tight one?
If they win, they'll probably cover.
6 right now. It's -6.
Yeah, if they win, they'll probably win by a touchdown. Here's the thing, right? So I think this game is ultimately going to come down to two things. Number one, the health of Jalen Hurts. Now, we don't know much as of now, like I said. I was on the Twitters looking at the NFL doctors and like the doctors who tweet about the NFL players who get injured. And I saw a lot of them were saying it might be a PCL or an MCL sprain in the knee, which is tough, right? You can play through it, but it gets worse. So this is going to come down to if Jalen Hurts is healthy enough to run the ball effectively. If you saw this last time they played, right? Eagles got out to a 21-7 lead. Wasn't particularly close. Looked like the Eagles were going to cruise to an easy win. Jalen Hurts goes down. Kenny Pickett comes in. What happens to Saquon Barkley? They put 8, 9. They stack the box every single time. They're coming after him. They're plugging the holes, and everyone's like, oh, look, it's Barkley can't run the ball. No. It's because they do not have to respect Kenny Pickett as a runner. With Jalen Hurts in there, you have to play your defense accordingly because he will take the ball and go 50 yards down the field, just like Saquon Barkley, if you do not cover for it effectively. So that's number one. Number two is the matchups, the Commanders wide receivers matching up against the Eagles cornerbacks. They've been on a roll, man, dude. And honestly, De'Ami Brown has looked as good as any receiver in the postseason so far, in my opinion. He's looked phenomenal. Now, if he's going up against Darius Slay, that might be an issue. Slay's a little older at this point, right? Not as quick as he used to be. De'Ami Brown's a young guy, fast guy. He's got a wicked right hook, as C.J. Gardner-Johnson knows. So those matchups will be interesting. Quinyon's probably going to be guarding Terry McLaurin a lot of the time. Now, he did give up a touchdown to McLaurin earlier in the year. But I think the matchup between the Commanders wide receivers and the Eagles cornerbacks will tell you a lot about who is going to win this game. If the Commanders are winning a lot of one-on-one matchups, that might be going in favor of the Commanders. If the Eagles are able to shut that down, keep them out of the middle of the field, play well on the boundary, what have you, that would obviously favor Philadelphia. So I'll go on record. I'll say 33-24 Philadelphia, and the Eagles will move on to the Super Bowl. That is my prediction.
I
What
agree
is
with you.
yours?
I think the Eagles will win. I think an underrated aspect that I think is going to come into play that's not really being talked about as much. Washington's offensive guard, Sam Costello, who's arguably one of their best offensive linemen.
Sam Cosmi?
He played like almost every game. He tore his ACL
Sam
in the
Cosmi?
game. Yes, sir. Yep.
No,
Sam
what?
Cosmi tore his ACL, so he will not be playing. And he gave Jalen Carter some trouble in the games that they
Oh,
played. And now
wow. You're right.
he is
How did I
out.
miss
He tore
that?
his ACL.
Holy
That's a
shit.
pretty big
That's
deal.
huge, man.
And I think that's
Oh,
honestly
yeah.
a pretty big game changer. I think this game's gonna be closer than that.
I didn't even
My
know about
guess is
that.
I think it's gonna be I think it's kind of like gonna be like a 28 Eagles 28, Washington 24.
Someone gets to 30 here. Someone gets to 30.
I don't think so.
I
I think
think
it's gonna be
so.
a tighter game than people think.
I think so. I think these are two
I
good
think
offenses.
28,
I
24.
think a lot of people forget
I
that.
think the Commanders were playing indoors against the. You gotta remember. I think it's gonna be more similar to that game against the Bucks than it is against the game against Detroit, because I think Detroit's defense is not as good as the Eagles. Certainly not as good as the Eagles.
No.
Not
You're
as
right.
good as even the Buccaneers.
You're right.
I think it's gonna be a much closer game. I think 28-24 is the final.
All right.
Eagles.
I'll take that. So we both got the Eagles. I mean, this would be
So the Eagles do not cover.
a hell of a story for Washington. They could become only the third team ever since the playoffs expanded to 12 teams back in 1990 to beat the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in the playoffs.
And they'd also be the first rookie quarterback to ever make the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Do you know who the other two are? That'd be
No, there has
no.
been a rookie quarterback.
Who would beat the 1, 2, and 3 seeds?
I don't know.
The 2005 Steelers and the 2010 Packers. Now, what do those teams have in common with each other?
They won the Super Bowl.
Team of Destiny, Washington, or I don't know, man. Who knows?
Well, I know if the Washington does win and it's Chiefs Washington, then I will be rooting. I will love Washington.
I don't think I'm watching.
I will go from hating them to love them.
I think I might
Anybody with Kansas City.
I might elect for you to do the show by yourself and not watch the game. One more note on this game: the Eagles will be facing their 8th different opponent in their 8 NFC Conference Championship game appearances since 2002. So
that's pretty cool.
New face every year for Philly. All right, we've got the AFC Championship game.
Oh, also, we never said this before, but Dallas is the only team that hasn't made the NFC Conference Championship game since at least 2010.
Yay!
Since at least 2010, Matt.
Yay!
Isn't that nuts?
I love that stat. It's a great stat.
They have only. I've never seen Dallas even as a baby in the NFC Championship game. Hilarious.
It's a great stat. So that game's going to be Sunday at 3:00, and then at 6:30 we have the AFC Conference Championship game in Arrowhead in Kansas City, Missouri. Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs.
As they say.
This is going to sound like a very boring analysis for me, but I think it's a very objective analysis. I think whoever wins the time of possession wins this game.
Okay, that's pretty boring.
I know it's a boring analysis, but here's my thinking. Both teams thrive on primarily the run. All right? Chiefs like to run the ball. We all know this. I think Buffalo has leaned on their running game a little bit more often this year, or, especially in the postseason. I know I said I'm taking Josh Allen's over on yards. I still do think that'll hit. But I think whoever is able to control the clock more wins the game. I think both teams are probably going to be looking to do the same thing, right? They have a high-powered offense. The Chiefs know that Buffalo's offense is, godly. They have a lot of different weapons. They can beat you a lot of different ways. Let's take the ball out of their hands. Let's try and run the ball, shorten up the passing game, do a lot of the things that we can do. They go on touchdown drives, take up a lot of time, chew the clock. I think Buffalo's probably thinking the same thing, where they're, they know that Kansas City is going to try to be doing that. And so they need to be efficient in their drives, number one. Number two, they themselves need to control the time of the clock. And they can't turn the ball over, right? Kansas City hasn't turned the ball over in 8 games. So there have been 280 turnovers in the NFL since week 12, and the Chiefs have committed 0 of those. They've gone 8 games without a turnover, which is the longest streak by any team in the Super Bowl era, including playoffs. Unbelievable. So that's my analysis. I honestly think whoever takes control of the clock wins the game. I don't know.
You gotta give a
Dude.
pick, bud.
I don't know.
Kansas City's favored by -2.
I don't care.
My gut tells me I feel like this is Buffalo's time to shine.
My gut tells me it's gonna be
But
Kansas
I
City.
kind of want to be right on my preseason Super Bowl pick.
My gut tells me it's gonna be KC again.
And I feel like I just, you can't pick against KC. I think Buffalo has a legitimate shot, and I really hope they win it because I hate KC.
Here's my
But
thinking.
I think it's KC. I think it's probably gonna be.
Here's
KC.
my thinking. Buffalo just beat Baltimore by 2 points, and it came down to the last play of the game to potentially go into overtime, and they won the turnover battle 3-0. Okay.
But I think Buffalo, as I said last week, their run defense isn't as good.
Dude.
I think it's kind of like a rock paper scissors situation, where I think the Bills can't beat the Chiefs. I mean, they're still the Chiefs. That's why I say can.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs can beat the Ravens. Well, they did. I think they're designed to beat the Ravens. I think the Ravens are designed to beat the Bills. Granted, the Bills beat them. That's why I'm thinking maybe it's the Bills' year. They feel kind of special this year with Josh Allen playing like an MVP, but just their defense is dicey, and it's just you can't pick against KC. So I will regretfully be picking KC.
I think I'm going to take Kansas City as well.
My preseason prediction, but I would not be shocked, and I am very hopeful that the Bills win.
I think I'm taking Kansas City as well. Ultimately, I'll say something along the lines of like 27-23 or something like that. I don't know, something like high 20s to low 20s, something like that. So regretfully,
go Bills though,
dude. Oh my God, yeah. Could you imagine if it's Buffalo's year, dude? That would be sick, man.
Yeah,
that would be sick. And
oh my God,
you guys remember these teams played each other earlier. Who won? Buffalo.
But it was in Buffalo.
I know.
The reason why I picked them to beat the Ravens.
I know.
But now they're in KC. We'll see what happens. But I just anybody but KC.
Yep.
Anybody but KC.
Do you know who the last quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead was?
Aiden O'Connell.
Nailed that. Did you see that tweet?
I love Aiden O'Connell. I saw the tweet, but I also love Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell, Christmas 2023.
Boiler up, baby. My boy Ken, boiler up.
One more note on the conference championship round. So 4 teams in the NFL have a 4th down conversion rate above 70%. Those 4 teams are the Commanders, Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles. So very interesting.
Doug Peterson started a trend.
Very interesting trend this year. If you convert on 3rd down, you're going to make the conference championship.
Dougie P, baby.
Interesting. All right. I know we're pressed against time. I have one final question for you. What is the best story heading into conference championship weekend? Is it Jayden Daniels, the rookie, trying to win his 3rd road playoff game, and Dan Quinn trying to take
Daniels?
You didn't even let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
Well, it's Jayden Daniels.
Jayden Daniels, Dan Quinn trying to take his 2nd franchise to the Super Bowl. Eagles bouncing back after their historical collapse to potentially get back to the Super Bowl after a 2-year hiatus. The Bills and Josh Allen finally trying to slay their demon in the Chiefs, who have held them out of the AFC Championship game for several seasons. Or is it the Chiefs, who are obviously trying to go for their 3rd Super Bowl in a row?
It's obviously not the Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think the other 3 have valid tastes. I think the Eagles is probably lower just because they were in the Super Bowl recently. And in terms of the national eyes, obviously in my own eyes, that's the story.
Yeah,
I love this Eagles team, and that's but as someone who's trying to represent the national media interests, I think the Commanders are. Obviously, I'm a little biased towards the Commanders because I like the Eagles. But even I commit, Jayden Daniels is so fun to watch.
I think objectively, you're right.
Oh, my God.
I think objectively,
I think it is Jayden Daniels. He's really fun to watch.
Close second.
I'm low-key kind of glad Aaron's coming with us because even if the Commanders win, which I don't think is going to happen, and I don't want that. Don't make the mistake as me wanting it to happen. I'm going to feel really happy for him in the moment. Because, feel good for your friends.
You
won't because you're going to be a pissy boopy butthole.
I don't care.
I will too, but
as long as he doesn't piss me off personally, I have no issue with it. We're going to go over that with him. Yeah, I think Daniels and the Commanders and Dan Quinn's definitely the best story. Close second, though, I think would be Buffalo. Definitely.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's a close second.
That's cool,
especially if they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, dude.
If they lose to the Chiefs, then
Well, yeah,
I think
obviously.
even if Jayden Daniels loses, the story is still awesome,
Yeah,
which is why I think it's the best story.
that's fine.
But the Bills story is really dependent on whether they beat the.
Yeah. All right. I know we went pretty long today. We had a lot to talk about. It'll be shorter
It's a
next week.
big
It
weekend.
was a big. It's the playoffs.
Well,
I
next
mean,
weekend we only got to go over 2 games,
it's the
and we have
playoffs.
2 podcast shows to preview the Super
Yes,
Bowl.
sir.
So
So yeah, we went a little bit over, but that's okay. There's a lot to talk about, as Kyle said. And there's gonna be a hell of a lot to talk about too. Kyle and I will be again at the
in attendance at the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship
Conference Championship game at Lincoln Financial Field Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. We will have exclusive content on our
most expensive
Instagram.
NFC Championship of all time.
Oh my god, dude! You don't want to tell them?
God damn it!
You want to tell them what we
pain in
paid?
the fucking ass.
You want to tell them what
to
we
get tickets?
Yeah, it was a cool $8, dude.
Like, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Hey man,
Oh my
I'm committed.
Lord.
I'm committed, man.
I fucking hate Ticketmaster.
So be on the
Fuck
lookout
Ticketmaster.
for exclusive content on Instagram, or if you follow me on Snapchat, it'll be on Snapchat as well. We will have a live look from inside Lincoln Financial Field. Be on the lookout for that. And with that, we'll wrap up today's show. So thank you guys so much for watching or listening,
All
or
praise
wherever
Barkley.
you are hearing our voices. Go Birds. And we
Go
will
Birds.
see you guys next week, either crying or happy with jubilation. We'll see.
Yes, one of the other.
One of the two. See you guys next week.